question, and some wit in the audience went, you know why, don't you? No marketing director is ever going to come in and run the ads from the previous marketing director. But we should. And if your budget's cut and you're half, well, one way, I mean, one of the most crucial things if your budget is cut is to stop spending on creation and preserve as much as your media spend as possible. Consumers only see the stuff that you actually put out there. They don't see your costs of making stuff. So if you think your budget is temporarily trimmed for a year, massively slash your production costs, not your media costs. I mean, it's just common sense, isn't it? And work with simple memory structures that make the brand easy to recognize and buy. This is how advertising works. And buy your media well. And one of the great things about a recession is the big change that occurs in media costs. I mean, it's just a golden opportunity to buy media at prices that you just don't normally see. It's just fantastic. But you still got to do it right. As I say about TV, TV is a wonderful media, but it's still much harder. It's much easier today to stuff it up than it was in the past. I grew up in New Zealand where I think as a child there was like one TV channel. You know, you could not stuff up TV advertising, could you? Well, you could spend too much money, but you couldn't not reach your consumers. But today it's a much more fragmented world. You really can muck it up. You can buy tons of frequency and not get any reach. There are lots of cheap media deals that deliver massive amounts of frequency in short time periods, and then you're vacant, gone for the other time periods. There are lots of media deals that deliver saturation of a small part of the market and just don't reach other parts. And this is a problem because all the research on advertising sales effects supports this shaped curve, where the big difference in exposure is going from 0 to 1. Hitting people once, right? That's where I get the biggest bang for my money. And then I want to do that at another time point, and another time point, another time point. But I don't, in a short period of time, ever want to hit people with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because I do get a little bit more of effect, but I don't get anywhere near as much as going from 0 to 1. And so if I hit people multiple times and that means it burns money so that I have to go out of the market later on, that's terrible. I want reach of maximum number of people, and I also want coverage in time. Those are the two elements of reach. So beware of media deals that offer that. As a general thing, if your budget is massively slashed for a year or so during a recession, I'd probably advise just take your digital budget and just put it to 0. Sorry for the digital people here. But let's be honest, right? We're dealing with very fragmented, low-reach media. Now, marketers should be in it because they need to learn about it. But if their budgets are slashed terribly for a year, well, you know, sales are what matters, so let's leave our education for a gap for a year. So be really careful not to ignore your light buyers. They are your future. They are also a huge chunk of your sales. Right? Contrary to what you might have learned at university, if you did an MBA, that bottom 80% of your customers do not generate only 20% of your sales. In fact, next year they'll generate 60% of your sales. And this year they generated about 40% of your sales. Next year they will generate more. And your top 20% generated about 60% of your sales this year and will generate about 40% of your sales next year. Yes, your heavies will get lighter and your lights will get heavier. This is what always happens. I'm not going to go into the reason, but the message is very clear, right? We really do need our light customers. We do need to reach them cheaply. New products. Let me just quickly wrap up. Can we launch products in times when consumers are conservative and hunkering down? Well, yeah, it looks like we can. Certainly the lower media costs help. Small luxuries do very well. Anyone selling chocolate or, I believe, lipstick. I've heard that lipstick has been selling astonishingly well. DVD rentals, small luxuries do very well. And here's actually a chocolate example. In the 1970s, really bad time for UK, but Yorkie was launched. I think it was Roundtree brand at that time. It's now Nestle. They gained 20% share of a stagnant market. I mean, this is amazing because, how many new chocolate bars launch? No, not how many new chocolate bars launch. How many new chocolate bars survive? Lots launch. How many actually get into the market? Not many. Well, this one did. Wow. How did it do it? Well, remember this was the time of stagflation. Costs were really rising. Inflation was rampant. Chocolate was getting very expensive. And so a lot of marketers thinking, well, people are suffering. Our raw costs are going up. What we should do is make the bar smaller. That would be good. Make it thinner. And it changed the taste, doesn't it? If chocolate is in a thin, it changes the taste. Well, Yorkie it launched as a small bar, but with the traditional big chunks of chocolate. Consumers noticed. They're not dumb. So, yeah, Yorkie's it's not a discount. It's a convenience store type product. So it's just, whatever how much does a chocolate bar cost? None of us know, right? We just buy them. Something, yeah. So, it's quite an amazing, but basically that was just because an opportunity was given to them by their competitors. And so these things exist. The market's not stupid. The market is not non-reactive. New products can work during downtimes. It's okay to launch Rural Bank now. It's okay. So, in summary, the consumer behaviour really does support a business as usual approach, actually, and just get better at marketing. And particularly exploit this opportunity. This is advertising spend against GDP. You can see the pattern there. Marketers massively overreact. GDP drops a little bit, marketers slash their spending. Right? GDP rises a little bit, marketers go crazy. So you all bid against each other, right, to buy media space and push the prices up when things are good. And then when things are bad, you all withdraw and the media prices collapse down, but you don't buy. That's really dumb. Or rather, it's a great opportunity. So use the opportunity. So just be realistic. Lower your growth targets because the category and the market's not going to grow as much as previous. That's what low growth means. But it's not. I mean, it's not terrible, right? Even if you're in a shocking market like the US, where you get something like 4% contraction, it still means the economy is 96% the size as it was the previous year. I remember that previous year, it was bigger than the year before that. So it's not that huge. Think very much about keeping up. There's not a big reason to do price promotions. This is largely just giving away margin that you were going to get anyway. Ignore what consultants tell you about. This is the time to just focus on retention, not acquisition. This is the time to focus on your heaviest customers. The logic doesn't even work for that, let alone the empirical evidence. It's just a dumb idea. Which I've said. A really crucial thing I just want to end on is what the evidence I've shown you really suggests as far as consumer behaviour, market performance, and then what marketers do. It suggests there's a problem with our discipline, right? That's the big thing, right? We overreact to recessions. We pull off advertising even though we've got great media prices at that time. We do dumb things, and I think part of it is that we do a really poor job at educating and how it works. So we need to do a much better job of showing our non-marketing managers and our CEOs what the facts are, right? So that we don't get pushed into the silly behaviour. Because the more silly behaviour we do, it's like a downward spiral, right? The more silly behaviour marketers do, the less respect the marketing discipline gets. And it just goes down and down and down. So I'll leave you with that.